Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, all participants are requested to mute, their videos as well as the audio portion so that they have a good connectivity to, the entire program. So we shall start at sharp 4. So I think a minute or two to go more ahead, and I think a lot of exciting things are waiting for all of us. All participants are requested to keep their background sounds muted so that no disturbance or problems are there in conducting the program. Okay, so I think it's already 4, and I think a lot of participants are already there. So we are starting off with the program. So I think that's fine. We'll start off with it sharp at 4. We are starting. Okay. Now, 10 to 20 years back, none of us never could imagine that we would face such situations in life: pandemic, health problems, fear, depression, anxiety, and a big full stop to the life of mankind worldwide. Be it a student or a working professional, all had to face a difficult phase. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to all the students and the professionals from the industry. In today's program, which has been organized by Team HR Sampark, we will discover the secret tips of enhancing your effectiveness while being at home, be a student or an industry professional. A small brief about HR Sampark, though most of you all must be familiar about it. HR Sampark is all about connecting and building relationships with people. The journey of HR Sampark started in the year 2017 with a group of people through a WhatsApp chat, later converted into a non-profit trust comprising of over 800 people connections across India. The Sampark Trust has been organized in Kolkata, and now it has been extended widely up to Mumbai and Delhi NCR. HR Sampark's vision was to bridge between academic to industry, and hence Sampark takes care of different initiatives in the field of industry academia, CSR activities, people engagements, and professional knowledge sharing. The journey of Sampark is so delightful and cherished with all the love and support from our dear friends and members. I would like our national president, Mr. Ashish Banka, to start the event by saying few words and by welcoming our chief program mentor for today's evening. For a better connectivity, I would again suggest everyone to keep their videos as well as their audios on the mute version so that we can conduct the program in a much professional way and in a successful way. And just to add on, all the participants of this program would be provided with an e-certificate from the Team Sampark at the end of the session or might be post session. Okay, so I would like to invite Ashish. Can you please come and say some words and just start off with for the event.
Thank you so much, Rillika. I greet everybody. Namaste to all of you. Namaste to our Chief Program Mentor, Dr. Anjali Kalse. Namaste to our Chief Keynote Speakers, Ma'am Debjani and Sir Saurabh. And to all the Youngistan people. I generally refer to all the students as Youngistan because these are the people who will take the Indian baton forward. And I always believe our hunger in mind and stomach should always be there. Team Sampark has already been focused in terms to bridge this gap between academia and industry. And also importantly that we believe that this is our way to give back to the society. The more we nurture and we help the students, the better the society will be. So Team Sampark has done a lot of activities. We'll keep continuing a lot of activities. I also have today our Calcutta Secretary, Mr. Debargo Dev, Mr. Amit Haldar, who is also a part of Globe Singh Business School, and Ms. Pooja, who is part of Praxis, who have also supported. I also have Mr. Ajit Singh, National Mumbai Chapter President. Before we proceed and hand over to them to say a few words, I'd like to play a small video for all of you to see the journey of Sampark. And this journey will show you in terms of love, affection, and connection can build a lot of learning together. So I'm sharing the screen video for all of you, a small video. I hope you all enjoy it. Rillika, please confirm if you are able to see the video.
Yes, I can see it.
I'll just play it for all of you and thank you, all of you. I believe you, understood the journey, what is all about. We believe it about connections, and whatever we give back to the society, it is our important and it is our duty as professionals. I also invite Mr. Debargo Dev, our Secretary of Kolkata chapter, to please come forward and say a few lines about this session and what the journey is all about.
Thank you, Ashish, and good afternoon to all. I'm keeping my video muted because of the little bit of network issue here in Kolkata, but I am sure you can all hear me loud and clear. It's been a tremendous journey. It's actually been a great journey since 2017. We started off, and Ashish, Rillika have very well, very articulately told us about what our objective is and all that. But believe me, tell you, behind this objective and behind this behind these contributions that we want to give back to academia or give back to the society, the biggest thing that I feel, Sampark has become a family, and things have gone beyond from a professional networking group to a family who takes care of each other in their needs of in their hours of need, in their professional and personal needs. We have fun together. We do projects together. We do activity together. Uh, and this lockdown has made the bonding. Most of the cases, the lockdown is making things falling apart. But Sampark being Sampark, this lockdown has helped us bonding better. People have spread across states. People have spread across countries. But over this digital medium, we have been able to connect with people better, and that's what Sampark stands for. So it's a lovely session. Looking forward to it. Brilliant speakers, great moderator with presence of Ashish, Saurabh, Rillika, Debjani. It would obviously be a great session to look forward to. And we keep on contributing to this kind of learnings throughout the year. And we hope to meet you all in soon person also. And till then, all the best. Let's do a great session and let's be together.
Thank you, Dev. Thank you so much for this, giving us a lot of enthusiasm. And also to mention all of you, Debargo, Dev, we have not introduced ourselves as professionally. We all are part of a HR industry. Debargo is regional HR head for Dabur for East Region India. I also invite Mumbai President, Mr. Ajit Singh, who is the HR leader in the media industry. Mr. Ajit, if you can please come forward and say a few words.
Ajit, you need to unmute. Just a second.
Hello.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ashish. Hello. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes.
Youth brings the change in the society, but an educated youth will always bring a positive change in the society. That's what pushes every time, to give something back to the Youngistan, to the youth, in a form of education, knowledge sharing, whatever we can give back to the society. In this journey, we are always thankful to the Team Sampark, Mumbai chapter, a lot of people working around this day night to just give us society something which will help society to make us a better society. I am always thankful to Saurabh ji, Debjani madam, Kalse madam. It's a pleasure to have you as a chief mentor. She has taken, the time out of her busy schedule in these situations and given a lot of inputs, which has bring us to a level where we could contribute towards the Youngistan.
Thank you, sir. Same here.
Madam, it's a pleasure to have you on board. Look forward to a lot of interactions from your side, a lot of inputs, your guidance, which will make Team Sampark a better place where we can contribute towards a society, which will help we all of us to become a better person. I am
Thank you,
always
sir.
thankful. Yes, madam. I'm always thankful to my core team, Sujya Nag, Vidya Nile. They are always behind us, day night working for the success of an event, which is bringing the positive impact in the society. With this, I would like to, request Rillika to take it over from here. Wish you all the good luck, happy sharing of this knowledge. Thank you so much, panelists, giving your time out. Look forward for a great session. Really, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ajit. Thank you so much. Okay, now before we start off, like I would like to inform everyone that apart from our chief mentor, we also have two eminent speakers on board with us from the industry who would be also participating into like this entire event and giving their valuable inputs about this entire session. And all like participants are requested to keep hold their session, I mean questions and everything till the end of the session, so that once we get the inputs from the like mentor as well as the speakers, then we can put on all the questions and answers to them. Okay, so I would like to welcome our honorable chief program mentor, Dr. Anjali Kalse. Let me brief a bit about her. Though she is an eminent person in the industry, but still I would like to introduce her again with a great, it's an honor for all of us to like have her in this session. So, ma'am, welcome. Firstly, I would like to
Thank you.
brief about her. Like Dr. Anjali Kalse, Director of Bharti Vidyapeeth Institute of Management Studies and Research, Navi, Mumbai. She, being PhD from Nagpur University, is also associated with Rajasthan University and ITM University. She provides PhD guide for Mumbai University as well. A trainer by profession for more than 2 decades, has imparted training in companies like PepsiCo, RBI, Cotton Corporation of India, Saint Gobain, and Nitco Tiles. Apart from her academic and professional excellence, she is even a certified NLP practitioner and associated with prestigious bodies like NHRD, ISTD, BMA, and Federation of NLP USA. She has done competency mapping certification from XLRI Jamshedpur. She has been awarded Indian Achievers Award for Education Excellence by Indian Economic Development and Research Association, New Delhi. Recently, she was also awarded with Educator Award from I20R. She has also authored a book on HRM. So it was a huge thing which I could, sum up about her. And I would like Ashish to invite her for her valuable speeches to the participants.
Thank you, Rilika. I believe any introduction of Anjali ma'am would be small. We are very
Yes,
new learners in front of her, and I will resurrect all with my HR Sampark team. We are extremely grateful for this collaboration, which we are also going it forward. And she understood the essence, what we give it back, and she really appreciated. We with this, I invite with wholeheartedly and a warm and a big round of applause to Dr. Anjali Kalse madam to come and please start this session, say a few words, and then we can take this forward from here.
yes,
Thank you, Rilika and the Samparka team for your kind words about me. And I would like to go for the program. First of all, very good afternoon to all the dignitaries present over here, distinguished guests, stalwarts, esteemed faculty members, friends, and my dear students. Welcome to the exciting webinar on the super secrets to enhance your effectiveness while being at home. We all, when we are going through this pandemic, we have gone through unprecedented situation like this. Never before we have faced such kind of a situation, and that is it's a difficult and challenging and a very negative situation, which definitely puts question marks in everybody's mind. Questions like very common question where it comes in every person's mind, that whether you are working or you are not working, irrespective of that, what is, when this pandemic is going to end, what will happen to economy, whether my job will be there or not, whether I'm going to face the salary cut, how, when it comes to the performance, the another set of questions, that how I'm going to perform from home, because this is a very unconventional way. Barring the IT professional, working from home is altogether a very unconventional concept for all of us. So questions regarding that, then how my boss will gauge my performance, then how, whether I'll be effective when I'm working from home. So many questions comes in mind, and most of the questions are unanswered, and even if it is answered, I feel they are vaguely answered. If we see this impact of pandemic, there are various factors it is affecting. The effects are devastating, and if you see, for example, the first part, if you see the economic impact of this coronavirus is devastating. It is around the globe, and if you look at the Indian economy, if you see the fourth quarter of this fiscal year, it is went down by 3.1%. And the chief economic advisor to the government of India said this drop is due to the pandemic. Earlier we have witnessed the a pre-pandemic recession, but definitely this pandemic has added, has magnified the intensity of this recession, and that's why there is a question mark in everybody's mind, and everything I feel is on the standstill. Every sector you see that there is a question mark. Every sector, there is anxiety, there is fear. So everything is on, I think it's a standstill. The other very important aspect is the health and behavior of the individuals, which is very crucial, because as we all know, we all love to interact, we are all very social, but due to this infectious coronavirus, we are following social distancing norms, we are following various other norms wherein there is an embargo on not meeting to the people, because it spreads the infection. Now if you see that if continuously you are alone, definitely it brings us that loneliness, and when you are lonely, there are other questions comes in your mind, and eventually that sets for the depression and the mental health. I think this mental health and the behavior issues are ignored in India, but I think that it will be the bigger challenge. Even after pandemic, we have to face that, and there will be after effect of this pandemic, and it will be very crucial and very challenging to deal with this. But in spite of all these odds, I feel we have performed well. Collectively we have performed well. And this, supported by, I would like to quote the Stanford study, where it says that those who are working from home, if you see the productivity, their productivity is gone high by 13%. That means there is some way out for this challenging situation. It's not all dark. It is still, there is way, but we have to carve our path and we have to go ahead with that. But what must be that path? What must be the approach we should? That is the $1,000,000 question, because the next area is performance. And even that performance is absolutely important in this pandemic, because if you are not performing, organization is not going to do any charity. They will chuck you out of the job. So performance is the major indicator in this pandemic. And if you ask me that what is that is required in budding managers, the students, how they should cope up with this kind of a situation, I think this particular time which they have got, they need to upgrade their skills. And if they upgrade their skills, I think there is a way to reach out to excellence. There is a way to reach out to performance. I can say, you see, if I have to quote Abraham Lincoln, once he said that, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend first 4 hours to sharpening the axe. Here, at this juncture, I feel this is more appropriate, because the major question comes, it is with the skills. We need to, if you want to survive in this pandemic, unprecedented and extremely challenging time, we have to upgrade ourselves, everyone, because there is a survival for fittest to learn. This is a new mantra now, and you have to survive in this pandemic. And the only key to survive in this pandemic is upgrade yourself, upgrade, learn. Now, the first thing which I feel that what you need to sharpen is systematic and disciplined approach. When I'm talking about systematic and disciplined approach, I'm not only talking about the discipline with respect to what you observe in office, what you observe in your behavior, but it is with the frame of mind, because your frame of mind should adapt and change from one frame of reference to another frame of reference quickly. Because if you are rigid, if you are not learning new things, then it will be very difficult to change your frame of reference from one frame to another frame. So you have to train your mind. You have to be very systematic. You have to be very disciplined in your approach. And then only there is a way. I think and this is the most ignored area, because we never think that if we introspect and we look into ourselves, I think first of all, we should be, uh, true to our own self, to admit and accept that yes, this is the thing I must admit and I must work on. First you realize and you admit, then only the work start. So this is the systematic, as I said, that systematic and a very disciplined approach is required to perform. And this is the first area wherein I think everyone we should work on. Then the other important area which I feel is important is optimism. When I'm talking about optimism, I'm not talking about, see, optimism, how it is taken, where everything is rosy, everybody is optimistic. They feel that, oh, wow, yeah, you have to be positive, you have to be optimistic, and everything, it should come, in a very positive way. But what optimism I'm talking is about the situation which we are facing. In an adverse situation, how positive you are, that's the key. Because if you are positive in adverse situation, then you can really analyze the situation. I mean to say that you should see what is there actually, and not what you wish to see. That is that kind of optimism. And in spite of all odds, you should have your own analysis. You should focus on what is there and not you wish to see and what you accept. So that kind of optimism, I think, is extremely essential. So that is number two key skill to upgrade. Number three, and most important, I feel, is the emotional intelligence. Now, this term is used very frequently, but many of us, it relates. We think that it relates only to the emotion, but I think it is more than that. If you take out the if you dissect this emotional intelligence, we can get four clear quadrant, and the first quadrant is intrapersonal. Now, when we talk about the intrapersonal thing, I think this is what is required in this challenging time, in this rough time, where we need to, we need to think about our self-awareness. We need to think about the self-regard. We need to think about accountability, how we are accountable for the things which happens in my life, and the assertiveness. It is all said and done very very easy to say, but very difficult to implement. So this is the most important quadrant. If you are able to handle this important quadrant, that is intrapersonal, I think half of the war, half of the battle is won by you. Then other important quadrant comes, that is interpersonal relationship. Now the next question must be there in your mind, that now when we are working remotely, how come this is going to help? I said that at this time this is even more crucial, because when we meet face to face, we have so many gestures, and we meet face to face, we can see the expression and we can judge what the meaning of what the person is saying. And when our communication in this pandemic, when remotely we are working, we are not in our office, and when in such situation we are working, then there is a greater chance that there are miscommunications, and maybe that may backfire everyone. So this is very important, and how to build on that. And you have to be extra careful when it comes to this interpersonal forte. Then the third is adaptability. That is, it is also, I think, I will say this is the important quadrant, where you have to adapt yourself to the different challenges which is thrown by the life towards you. We never thought that we will be in such situation wherein we are not going to office, we will work from home, and everything will be on standstill, and there will be restriction to meet people, there will be restriction to meet up a friends, to catch up with a friend. So we never thought of, but yes, we are in that situation, and the question mark remains there, that what is the road forward? So this adaptability is absolutely essential. You cannot you have to have that flexi mind to accept the situation, how the life is going ahead, and what the challenges life is throwing at you. So that is again a very important and must work on quadrant for every one of us. And the last quadrant, I will say, is the stress management. Now, most of us, they fail miserably in managing the stress in, whether it is our personal stress in our life or the professional stress from the professional front. Now, here in this pandemic, the stress is from both the side. It is from the personal front, it is from the professional front also. So it is how you manage stress, and how realistically you assess the situation, and how you deal with it is, and what kind of interventions you bring in for your own self to deal with, because each and everyone, they have their own strategies and intervention to deal with this kind of a stress, whether it is there in personal life or in professional life. We cannot run away from the stress. Stress is inevitable part of our life, and we cannot run away. So there is no way out, so we have to go with certain intervention, certain strategy, and we need to deal with it. So we should tune ourselves to deal with our life stress. So that is the fourth quadrant. And if you combine all these four quadrants, that is the intrapersonal, interpersonal, adaptability, and the stress management, definitely that whole will reflect into your effective performance. And that effective performance, that is what we want in today's time and always. So I think this is a key skill. And uh, everyone, I'm sure that most of you must have read Daniel Goleman, Stephen Steen, but when it comes to implement, it is too difficult, my dear students. So we need really pull up our socks, and we have to work on this particular skill, which will be essential for you throughout your life. The skill number 5 which we need to work on is leadership skill. Leading is altogether different. All of you are leader at a certain point of time in your life, must be leading some or the other thing in your life. And when you are a leader, you are a role model. People, they look at you, and they, so the first thing is like, it is a challenging job. What you preach, you must practice. That is, and binding of team is absolutely essential for a leader. And it is a Herculean task that you have to treat each and everyone who are working under you with the same manner. They should not feel that there is a biasness. So leadership is an in difficult situation, what kind of call you take, how you take the decision, what kind of strategies you are applying, and at every complexity of the business, every complex situation, your team should be with you. When the team is down, you should be with them. So leadership, definitely, that is important skill that needs to be worked on. And the last, and you cannot survive with that skill, is the technological upgradation. I've seen many people, those who are the onset of their retirement and all, and they say that maybe it is difficult now to catch up with the gadgets. Younger generation is more tech savvy and all that, but nothing doing. We need to update. If it is, everything can be learned, all skills can be learned, and it's not a rocket science. And we all update ourselves with all the technological upgradation, because that is the future, and we must upgrade ourselves in this particular thing. And I think if we start working, because this is many a time in many webinars I've heard that this time should be used in something very useful that can be used for your upgradation. Many people, they enroll themselves for the certification. Many employees, they go for the further education. Students are adding credentials to their CVs. That is good, that you must do. But at the same time, little bit introspection with respect to your own personality is called for at this juncture, because this is a time you will not get such time wherein you will introspect, you will realize, and you will work on what is required in my personality, right? Everybody, nobody is perfect. There is lacuna in each and every one. What we need to do is that we need to work on the required skill for survival, and we need to capitalize on what kind of skills you are already having on the platter, and that definitely will give you the effective performance. And this whatever we are doing, it's not only for others, but you also get satisfaction when you upgrade yourself. I am very sure that each and everyone, when you learn something new, you get that fulfillment that, oh, I've learned this thing. Even small things in life, yeah, it gives pleasure if you learn that, because learning is a fun, and you must experience this. And this can happen at any age. There is no embargo, there is no restriction that you cannot learn this particular thing at the age of 50 or 60 or 70. I've seen many good role models wherein they keep on learning, and that is the key for life. You should keep on adding value to yourself, and this is the time which calls for that. So it is must that we must add on this required skill in this kind of a situation, and that will definitely help us to deal with the challenges thrown by this pandemic, thrown by this life, which we haven't seen before. And along with the satisfaction, definitely I feel your self esteem will go very high if you do something new, if you learn something new, if you add value. And definitely, you will feel that yes, I am by using by using this, by adding skill, I am now self actualized. There is, and then the other things will follow. There will be a career growth. You will feel that yes, you are effective, you are productive member of your team. Ultimately, the ultimate effect of all this is, definitely your material status will also increase eventually. And at the end, as I said, that you will feel that yes, I have used all my potential and I am on the top of the ladder, and that is the biggest pleasure and happiness which no one else can give to you. It is only you who can give this uh, you know pleasure to your own self. I will say that you should not work only for what I get. It is for the self fulfillment also. Many things we should do, and eventually everything will follow. So I will say that do your hard work, put your hard work, go ahead, do it, and don't think that what will happen, what I get, but eventually everything you will get. So I'll say that कर्मण्येव अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. So आप अपना काम करते रहिए, आप you go on doing your duties, go on adding value to yourself, and the fruits will follow you. So with this, I think I have given whatever my thought on today's topic. And now I will, there are two stalwarts who are waiting. I hand over this session to them. Thank you. I wish all the participants happy learning and wish you all the best. Stay safe. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful, like views and the, like things that you have shared to all of us. It really, I think, are going to help us in the life ahead. Thank you so much. So we'll just quickly go to the other two people, the other two speakers, eminent speakers. So firstly, I would like to introduce Debjani Roy. I would brief about her, and then I would ask her to, like share her views about the secret tips that she has like kept for all of us. So let's start off with Debjani Roy, and then followed with her we have Mr. Saurabh Jain also. So I'll introduce him also after her. Okay, now firstly, like about Debjani Roy, like she's an industry stalwart having domain expertise in HR for more than 25 years. She has been associated with top companies like Nalco, Bharti, HCL Tech, Bentley Systems, Kioni, and SLR Diagnostics. Being a pass out of FMS Delhi, she has been awarded several times for being and one of the country's most dynamic HR leaders. Currently, she is a chief HR advisor at Mind Your Fleet, a reputed software startup in the transportation space. She also has her own boutique HR advisory firm named Wind Beneath the Wings Venture LLP. Devjani is also a guest faculty in few reputed B schools, beside being an acknowledged speaker, author, coach, and mentor in the academic and corporate space. So, Devjani Roy, I would like to invite you to this session, and I would request Miss Roy to, like share her, like valuable secret tips to all the participants for this session. Devjani, warm welcome to you to the session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rillika. I think those were very kind words that you had for me. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Team HR Sampark. I think that goes out without fail for giving such a wonderful platform. And indeed, we are all part of the Youngistan, though, because I don't want to think of myself beyond 25 years at any point of time. So that 25 years of experience is just the exact number of years that I've also lived on this earth. So without much ado, I would like to congratulate Team Sampark for actually bringing about such a wonderful topic, very relevant, very, very much in sync with what each one of us are going through. This is a complete paradigm shift in our lifestyle today, which we are experiencing because of this pandemic that has caught us out of nowhere. And because of it, whether we are at home, whether we are at work, whether we are at school or colleges, as it used to be, Each one of us have had to have a relook at the way we have led life till now, and also look at how we are going to lead our lives probably from here onwards. But in all this changes, I think one of the things that has hit us very badly is our own levels of motivation, our own levels of tenacity and patience with the changes that have come about. A few of us have been caught on a wrong footing. We've got unnerved. Many of us have not understood that these changes are for keeping. Therefore, we need to adjust and get around to them as fast as possible. So one of the things that I'm going to actually base my talk today is primarily to show you and to let you understand that there is no going away with the pandemic today. If we feel that we're going to go back to that earlier, I'm going to call it BC, which is before COVID, and I'm going to call it after COVID. So BC and AC, right? If any of us feel that we're going to go back to the days of BC, I'm sorry, I don't think that's going to really happen. There are changes which are here to stay. Maybe those changes will undergo metamorphosis again. Maybe there's a hybrid pattern which will emerge. We still don't know exactly what we are going to be looking for in the future, immediate as well as far. But one thing we can say for sure is that there are plenty of things that are not going to be like what we have experienced in our lifestyle till now. And therefore, there are ways in which we should learn to cope with it. Because unless we get our coping skills in place, unless we are able to harden our mind, get our mind space into the elite where we feel that yes, we have to fall in place, we have to adapt, we have to make the best of the situation and come out successful despite all the odds, we will keep cribbing about the changes and we will never be able to see the sunshine out there. So Ashish, I think without much ado, I'd request you to start with the presentation. I have a small, bouquet of about 5 slides in which I've tried to sort of take you through the journey of what I feel this pandemic is all about and what really is in it for us. Can you put this on a slide form so that we can get the maximum benefit? Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So as you can see, super secrets to enhancing our effectiveness while being at home. So that while being at home is in red because that's probably the biggest change that has come about in our life today. Even till yesterday, we all looked forward to going out of home, probably to a college, to a school, to a play school, or to the corporate, whatever kind of workspace it was. We would probably have another place to go to outside of home. So we were actually living a life which was a combination of a lot of socialization, combination of a lot of interplay between familiar and personal life and professional life. We would have an arena to de-stress. If we were full of fatigue at the home, we would have another place to go to and de-stress. And there were other third arena where if we were not supposed to be at home or we would not go to an office or a college, we would at least be free to go out together to probably a mall, watch out for a movie, go binging together, have a meal outside. So in all, there were multiple options which were there with us at any point of time without having to think about was there something around there in the air? Was there somebody who was watching me and going to catch me? Was my health going to get affected? Was I going to be pulled down in any way by venturing out of home? However, as they say, where the where it is dark, that's where the tiger appears. And despite our best thoughts, this is exactly what we were caught with at the start of this year. I don't think any one of us could have thought that staying at home was going to become such a big part of our life suddenly. So, if we move to the first slide, Ashish, the COVID-19 pandemic. What are we talking about here? It has hit us unexpected, unprecedented, and completely unpredictable. I don't think any one of us would have ever expected, even in the last months of 2019, that something like this was going to become the mainstay of the coming year. I mean, I remember in the throes of the 1st of January, I was celebrating with friends in a place called Udaipur. And even though we were hearing about some small virus, which had affected in some corner part of China, one of our neighbors, there was never a thought that something like that was going to become such an unprecedented part of our life just in a space of 3 months from then. So this, however, when it struck us, it brought about a paradigm shift in ways of living life. I don't think personally, okay, in my 50 years of lifetime, I would have ever thought that I would have to see such changes brought about in my lifetime. I mean, it was something that, you had grown up with. There was a comfort zone. You had grown up going to colleges and schools in the normal way of life. You had passed out in a particular clarified time frame. There was always a retreated time during which you passed out. You then, no, you then had to move to the next post, which is go into a job space. When you went into a job, you knew what was expected of you. It was all a touch feel environment. It was all defined by your physical presence, and everything that was to happen was face to face, and that was the fulcrum of the way you lived your life. So never did you think that even if you had to speak to somebody at home as well as outside, you had to wear a piece of cloth across your mouth. Never did you think that if you had to travel by air and start in a queue at the airport, you would have to wear an even larger face piece, which would cover everything of your face so that you would not get affected by this virulent virus that was around time. So it was a paradigm shift in more ways than one, and it hit us so hard that when the first lockdown, the day long Sunday lockdown, which was announced in March one fine day, we probably were so unnerved we didn't know what was coming. Because it is important to understand that India, more than anybody else, actually had the virus attack us very, very slowly at the starting point. It had taken over the West in far more greater shape, primarily because of the travels that had taken place, but it hit us much stronger at a later point of time. And therefore, it took us a little bit more time to start with to even understand that there was something like this, a monster called the COVID 19, which was just lurking around the corner and was going to hit us in such a hard way. When I say a paradigm shift, it meant that the workplace, the workforce, and the work life all got disrupted. All the three terms that I've used here applies equally to my student friends as much as to my professional colleagues. The workplace was either the school or the college, or it was the corporate houses. The workforce was obviously you and me, whether it was a child of 6 years of age, whether it was an adolescent who was moving into college, or whether it was the young Turks, the young generation, which was going into the workplace. Each one of them suddenly had staring at a situation where one by one the school shut down, the colleges shut down, and suddenly you were told that you did not have to come into office to actually discharge your work. Because at every corner, at every nook and corner, you had this virus which was lurking to hit you, as a result of which you suddenly faced a very, very different situation. This whole concept of remote working or work from home was till yesterday a privilege for only a few, and that also in certain industries like the IT, etc. But suddenly it had now become the rule of the game. Suddenly you were being told that you had to move back and create your work ready homes, which meant that you had to pick up infrastructure. You had to make sure that you identified one small corner of your workplace at home and morph it into a workplace so that on a day to day basis you could discharge your responsibilities from that corner itself. But this was definitely completely an unannounced factor for us, because till date, I can tell you, I looked forward to school. I loved meeting my friends. So I can imagine what a student who was suddenly told to stay back at home and undertake digital classes later on would undergo. I loved my campus life. So I can imagine what my young student friends who were either in their undergrad or their B schools or their engineering studies would all feel like that suddenly that beauty of a campus life has been cut short, that umbilical cord has suddenly been severed. And talk not of the corporate life. This was probably the area which was hit hardest. Not only were people told to stay at home, but there were plenty of us who also had to say bye bye to our livelihoods. Suddenly, the corporates woke up to realize that the business was gone, the markets were shrinking, the profitability was completely eroded, as a result of which a lot of businesses started shelling, a lot of businesses started retrenching their people. Those who did not and still kept a little bit of the humane values intact still went on to undertake fellows like withdrawing benefits, cutting down pay ratios. A lot of executive bodies decided not to take pays at all from their organizations. So it was mayhem all around. when such things happen and when such things fall on your face, wellness is under direct threat. Suddenly, the countenance, what we call the basic countenance of the human being, was completely shaken up. Consider a normal human being who had a 24 by 7 work life or a study life, and suddenly being put behind and told that your way of life is going to undergo a change. Even wearing a mask continuously when you want to go outside, when your breathing pattern gets affected, when a lot of uneasiness comes in because all the time your nose and your mouth is actually enclosed, it pulls you under restraints, it constrains you in your way of carrying out life. I think it was completely a change in the way we had performed till now. And this performance is not corporate performance. This is the way we led life. Therefore, wellness was suddenly under threat. The mental peace, the ability to actually balance out that great change in life, the ability to stay stoic and not get unnerved, not move into anxiety. I realized that there were a whole number of people who started reaching out to me because of anxiety disorders. They went from anxiety disorders to mental depression to breakdown points. And this was not just happening for people in corporate, but I also had students reaching out. They were so unnerved because their internships were being withdrawn. They were so unnerved because suddenly the companies which had given them offers were withdrawing the offers. Now, this was definitely not going to augur well. And this suddenly, everybody around started talking about arrival of the new normal. Now, I don't know whether the new year is anything to be celebrated, but yes, it was something we could not really run away from. Next slide, please. Thank you. So one of the things that we quickly had to determine without moving into describing the pandemic any further is that is so much important that once you realize that the problem is here to stay, you don't consider it a problem anymore, but look towards how to develop solutions. Because the more you think there is a problem, you never break that mindset. You will never be able to break that mindset to move into a growth mindset. So the first thing that one had to do, and one has to do even today, to understand that this problem or this pandemic is here to stay, is develop resilience within yourself. And what is resilience? This has become the most important qualified competence that any individual can have in today's scenario. Resilience is nothing but the ability to maintain your balance and keep your calm in the face of adversity, and also go one step forward in converting an adversity into an opportunity for self. So resilience by far is probably the competence not only that you start working on today if you don't have it, but continuously practice and practice, because who knows, is this the only pandemic out there? Because this major change has shaken us up so bad that today all the naysayers and all the gurus and all the management experts are saying that this may not be the only one. If something like this could happen in our lifetime and shake us up so bad that it's almost like the science fiction movies, like the Indiana Jones, that you slept one night in probably a mansion and grew up next day in a jungle. I mean, this Steven Spielberg has suddenly started becoming a reality for us. Therefore, if such changes can become a reality, then you also need to develop competence which has been not very, very common and ordinary till now. So resilience used to be only the premise of the courageous. We used to talk about resilience only for people who used to climb the Mount Everest. We used to talk about resilience of people who were handicapped and yet crossed the English Channel. But today, we don't need to look at those exceptions. We have to understand that resilience has to become a commonplace competence for each one of us. And for what? Because we have to adapt a growth mindset. I mentioned negativity is becoming a very, very common factor in all households today, because people are finding it very difficult to move out of the comfort zones and to understand that life will never be the same for them. So, to be able to adapt to that new reality, it is important to break the shackles of negativities and emerge and start adapting a growth mindset. And though these terms may sound to you to be very, very large or a jargon, let me tell you it's very simple. What's a growth mindset? A growth mindset is nothing but telling yourself that I can only grow from strength to strength from here. It's continuously telling yourself, I can do better than this. And that, in our terminology, is called positive affirmations. If you look at that little picture which I have on the slide, the cat is looking at the mirror and is seeing herself as a lion on the other side. That's positive affirmation. That irrespective of where you are in life, how are you in life, what you are doing about, facing your adversities, facing the downtrends, you are only able to see it from a positive point of view. The more positive you get, the more strength you can amass. And that's also what is called the power of self talk. I keep telling wherever I go to speak, even when I've been on the TEDx platforms, I've continuously maintained that, it is not enough to go and listen to great orators or in a conference or a seminar. It's not enough to only go to a guru and sit and listen to the power words that he has. It is still not enough to read important books. Has any one of us gotten into the habit of listening to ourselves? Because I think one of the most powerful repositories of wisdom and insightful talks is your own mind. There can be no better friend, no better ally than your own mind, because your intellectual capital sits within that. The power of self talk is where it all begins. Every morning when you grow up, and I'm sure these are values which you may have heard the elder generations in your family say, that when you get up in the morning, say a prayer that let this day be a good day for me and everybody else. Why do we say that? Because that's an affirmation, that's a positive affirmation with which you start the day. And today we are in a situation where there is nothing better than using and practicing positive affirmations so that we can break the negativities, we can continuously talk to ourselves, we can gather knowledge, we can build resilience, and thereby start treating the new normal just like everybody else in the way that we should be. Next slide, please, Ashish. Thank you. And here's a small little example of the power of self talk. And that'll tell you how simple it is. This is no rocket science. I mean, when all these is given the shape of a jargon in textbooks of human resource, it starts looking very big. But when you break it down to your everyday life, you realize that it's simply speaking to yourself with a lot of positivity. Just to say I am enough. I can get through this. Today is going to be an awesome day. I am a leader. I can control my own happiness. I believe in myself and my abilities. Friends, start talking to yourself in this way every day. Try doing it 3 times in a day and see the change in your attitude. See the change in your orientation. You will not only see a buoyancy in your body language, you will also start realizing the power that you can bring back into your voice, that conviction, that confidence with which you will start negotiating life. Because what are we talking about here? The power of self talk is the most important instrument which helps you in negotiating the problems in life. Because every day, what do we do in life? We negotiate situations. Every day in life, whether it's at home, at work, or outside, with a known and dear one, with a non-known person, we are continuously negotiating life. Therefore, in that negotiation, it is this power of self-talk, that ability to tell yourself that you have it in you to actually trounce and trump any kind of an adversity, gives you that kind of a motivation to see you through the day. And the more you practice, the more resilient and the more adaptable you become. Next slide, please. Therefore, what are we talking about here? We are talking about a situation and a time where it is critical to keep the faith alive. Faith, please understand, has nothing to do with religion. Faith has nothing to do with spiritualism. Faith has nothing to do with the Bible, the Quran, and the Gita. Faith is that higher power. Faith is that small little thing, anything. It could even be the fragrance of a wet earth when the first rains happen. Keep the faith alive in what you love in life. If you manage to keep the faith alive, there is something to look forward to. These are nothing but all different kinds of positive affirmations that you practice in life. The more faith you have in yourself, in your ability, in your surroundings, in your support system, in the environment, the more you will be able to draw strength. Surround yourself with positive people, because when you surround yourself with positive people, there is a whole network of positivity which is created. It's like the spider's web. The more you are fearful about a spider's web, the more you shirk from it. but the more you admire the great precision with which the spider weaves that web, you realize what a wonderful creature God has made. That web is not something which the spider is throwing at you. It's only your perception that, oh my God, the spider is reaching out to me. But what he's really doing is to create a little hub around itself. And I believe that if you make do with a positive orientation and with positive people around you, then no way can you be surrounded with negatives any further. So your faith and your positive orientation not only will come from yourself, but it will also come from your ability to look out for people who can give you that kind of a support at every juncture. The third one is something which is very, very dear to my heart, which is seek mentors. I must give you an example here. I teach in a few B schools. I do a lot of mentoring of both privileged and underprivileged students, and I see a lot of differences between them. I have seen that underprivileged backgrounds, students who come from underprivileged backgrounds, who are first generation educated people, who've got parents who are probably daily laborers, who've never seen the likes of a school or a college, their resolution, their resilience, their ability to meet with adversity sometimes is far higher than actually people who come from privileged background. And that's because they grow up with a fighting spirit. They grow up with positive affirmations that I have to make it in life. Now that is a learning in itself. And one of the things that you can do in that journey of positive affirmation is seek yourself a mentor. Many of those people who in the colleges who came to me and said, ma'am, what are we to do? Our internships have been withdrawn. We don't have an offer in hand. When our final placement interviews come, we have nothing to tell them. I looked around and said that why? Exactly as Dr. Anjali also very beautifully said, you have this wonderful time which God has suddenly thrown to you. You've got this godsend. You never really bargained for it. You never really thought it's going to happen, but you suddenly have this time for once when you're not running, when you're not trying to complete your term papers. You're not really running against, doing something or a project which has a deadline. So this is a wonderful opportunity where you need to do a few things which you never thought you would have the time to do. For instance, pick up a new skill. And skill does not mean going into a Coursera or an Udemy or any of those courses and find out again something which is just a supplement to what you've been doing. Who stops you from developing your photography skills? Who stops you from doing content writing? Who stops you from drawing a script? Who stops you from painting a picture? For all you know, you may have a budding artist sitting in you. You may have a wonderful creative person sitting in you. But because of the structured education and the time paucity that we have all the time, okay, that's the reason why we have never been able to give enough attention or master some of these latent talents that we may have. And here you have, behold, an opportunity against yourself. Tomorrow, when you go into your placement interviews and the person on the other side of the table tells you or asks you, but what did you do with the time which was at your disposal? You will have something brilliant to say if you said that I walked down the streets of my city and captured the images which I never thought I could do in my lifetime because I never had the time for it. But here it is. This is my portfolio. These are the images I have captured just because I was coming for this time. Sorry?
No, carry on, ma'am. Carry on. Some background.
Okay. So sorry. So, that I can tell you any number of interviewing people. If I was there on the other side, I would be supremely impressed at the entrepreneurial spirit, at the way you made an adversity become an opportunity for yourself. You could do courses, you could pick up a new skill, you could concentrate on developing different grooming mechanisms, you could read. Our generation has forgotten to read. It's very, very important that we pick up that habit again, because I believe there's nothing more beautiful than getting immersed in a good book. Not only do you get to understand and get exposed to different milieus and cultures and different kind of thinking processes by becoming an avid reader of a book, but you also get to improve upon a language. So whether it's in a vernacular language, whether it is in a language that you're comfortable in, or in the English language, please find yourself lovely books, lovely novels, lovely autobiographies, which is a very good use of your time. And last but not the least, seek your mentors. There are many of you who are out there who are brilliant in the work that they do. There are many stalwarts, many experts who have never had also the time like yesterday, but today they have the time. So if you were to seek out to them, reach out to them and say that, ma'am, I would like to shadow you. I have always admired the kind of work you've done. I would like to pick up some nuances of the social sector, or I want to understand what is CSR and want to get into the midst of it. Would you please help me and guide me, understand it better? Believe you me, there'll be very few people today who will say no to you, because it's a very, very wonderful thing to be able to impart knowledge. Okay, it is one thing to gain knowledge, and it's a beautiful thing to impart knowledge. So please seek out your mentors. And that, I believe, is something, all of these things, if you were to practice in the time that you got for yourself, would have resulted in what I call the lockdown CV. So you have a CV, which is a curriculum vitae for the rest of your life. And then you have a small CV, which is for at least the 6 to 8 months, which you call the lockdown CV, where you made ample opportunity of the available circumstances before you to convert adversities into opportunities. And that, my friend, is enough to impress anybody out on the other side. Last, critical today, because of all that's happening around us, practice wellness. Because if you do not practice wellness, it will become difficult for you to keep your countenance in balance. Whether it's meditation, whether it's pranayam, whether it's yoga, whether it's eating right, whether it's deep breathing, whether it's sleeping well, whether it's actually doing the right kind of behaviors with everybody around you, please go ahead and do that, because without it, I don't think there's going to be too much future in keeping our countenance alive. Last slide, please. So towards a new order, and this order, there is a mask in place, no doubt about it. At least the foreseeable future, the mask is not going away anywhere. On the other side, you see virtual hugs. No, that's going to be the norm of today. That's going to be the norm of tomorrow. You're going to be giving French kisses. You're going to be doing virtual hugs, because you have to stop the bugs. Sometimes I love the way the humor, the pun, and the memes can actually help us understand something in a far more light-hearted manner. Lifestyle, let's understand we've moved towards the new order, and what is in it for us. Lifestyle changes are here to stay. Social distancing is not going anywhere. From tomorrow, whenever you step out, whether it's in a mall, whether it's in a metro, whether it's in the local transport mechanisms, everywhere social distancing will be something that you will have to take note of. New work order, when we move into the workspaces, it's going to be much more digitized than ever before. Work ready homes, something which we will have to work actively for, because it's no longer going to be looking forward to a beautifully laid out office space. You will have to beautifully decorate one corner of your home and make sure that you are as motivated to sit there and balance out the office work that you need to do. Wellness will be key, which is fight psychological isolation. This is an important concept, because we used to look forward to all the different places because we had an opportunity to socialize. We had an opportunity to make friends. We had an opportunity to mix and de-stress ourselves. Even a cup of coffee next to a vending machine during a coffee break, during in the corporate life of 8 hours of work, used to be such a wonderful thing to look forward to. But today, that's not going to be the case anymore. And therefore, we will have to fight what is known as psychological isolation. That's going to creep in, because day in and day out, when you're sitting in front of a laptop, whether you're a student or whether you're a corporate worker, continuously staring at a screen and trying to do work is not probably the best solution that you can have all the time. So you'll have to find out ways in order to break that down and continuously keep yourself alive. And you have to finally look at holistic development. We talked about wellness. Wellness will lead to holistic development. Last but not the least, new skills will rule, and there has to be continuous learning. So what was relevant as a skill yesterday will no longer be a relevant skill today. The way the managers used to actually harness their teams is not going to be the way that that is going to be the way they will look after. There is remote working, which means even the whole objective of human resource is undergoing a change. Human resource used to thrive on looking at people and creating solutions for them in a physical space. Today, human resource has to become agile. Human resource has to break down processes, take course of design principles, and evolve new methodologies of policies and frameworks that will reach out to remote workers. Today, HR has to provide solutions for people who are no longer present in physicality at a workplace. There is no going to be workplace tomorrow. So we will also have probably ombudsman HR people, or a happiness officer, or a contact officer, a contact HR officer. So new nomenclatures, new role plays, new definitions will come into place. And just like in HR, every other department, every other function will also have to probably very creatively and innovatively reskill themselves, continuously learning from each other, continuously learning from best practices so that we can stay relevant today. I believe if we can follow this routine, if we accept first and foremost that yes, we are in a different genre today, we are sitting in an age which is absolutely the inflection point where if we don't adapt, we will fall off the cliff. But if we adapt and we take cognizance of all that we probably discussed till now, we will be mentally that much more stronger. So I thought, friends and professional colleagues, I would probably primarily stress more on inner power, the way you have to develop yourselves, your mental faculties, your ability for mind space, so that you will be able to be strong enough to face any vagaries that come your way starting today. Thank you so much for your patient hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the wonderful words and the wonderful tips that you have shared to all of us. Now, since we are running short of time, we'll quickly go to our next speaker. Okay, Saurabh Jain. So I'll just brief about him. Being a Xavier alumni, he grabbed some professional degrees like MBA and CFA. He got then associated with some top companies in the financial sector like ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, Shrey, and National Stock Exchange. Recently, he got his book published, Financial Wellness Cinematics, which became the bestseller in Amazon. Being an author of this book, he would even share how effectively he utilized this pandemic professionally. So that's the best thing, like how he had, like utilized this particular, pandemic time when we all were stressed out. He had utilized in a very nice way by writing a book. So over to Saurav. Welcome to this event, and kindly share your, experience, how you had, utilized, as well as the tips to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Rillika, and thank you to all the wonderful speakers, Anjali ma'am, Debjani ma'am. It was really, really, superb listening to you. And I can tell you that, I just wanted to shadow both of you as my mentor, as you said. So really, it was great learning for me, because I typically focus on the financial wellness and the professional wellness. But the kind of insights, the kind of motivation I have got now I also need to focus on my health wellness, where I am slightly weak on too. So great, friends. So Youngestan, hello. So are you really excited, or you are really thrilled, you are really imbibed with the positivity of the energy? Yes, no? If yes, just type yes in the chat box. Yes. If you are really, both the speakers have actually filled you with the positivity consciousness, please type yes, 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 yes. It is just flowing into the system. Yes, great. I think, can we have a faster yes? Cool, great. Great. So I'll share something, a very different perspective, but I'd like to correlate what Anjali ma'am said, and I would like to start with Ashish said. Now the world has moved from an era of, competition to collaboration. I think this will be the key change going ahead. And please ensure that, wherever in your life, in your career, you get a chance to collaborate. I think that would be the most beautiful things. Look at a company like Reliance Jio. He has collaborated with Google. He has collaborated with Facebook. He has collaborated. He is in talk to collaborate with Amazon. Just imagine, 3 years back, we could have never thought these guys, they were one of the biggest competitors, and now, they're coming together, collaborating, and, making a bigger market for all of us. So again, as Debjani ma'am also said, change is very evident, and change is the only permanent thing in life. You can't just be stagnant, like a water in the lake. So you just have to be, like a flowing water, and just evolve with the change. And trust me, crisis, some or the other crisis will come into your life. I was interacting to a student last week. He said, boss, I am into MBA second year, and this crisis have come in. Now what will happen to my job? I told him, boss, कभी ना कभी क्राइसिस आएगा लाइफ में, एंड कभी ना कभी वाट लगेगी. इट इज एक्सीलेंट दैट एकदम at your very career start point, you have realized the very hard way. Again, the same happened with me 2008. Some of my friends told me that you are also linked to some your professional growth is also linked to the crisis. In 2008, again there was a subprime crisis. I was in the second year of my MBA and also had the same thought that what will happen to me, where will the world go. The entire financial crisis has taken the world back, will take the entire industry back, and what will happen. But my mentor just told me one thing, Saurabh: keep focusing on your skills. And that's what Anjali ma'am has told, that please upgrade, kindly upgrade. And trust me, by the time I completed my MBA, the market started to normalize, and I got a good job in ICICI Bank Treasury. So why I could able to do that? Because I was constantly focusing on upgrading and enhancing my skills. And similarly, in 2020, again, then another crisis came up. So we are in the financial services industry. We also felt what would happen if people will not have money. How will they save? And how will we do financial planning for them? But then again, I thought, sort of, let's focus on your skills. So I started writing a book, maybe compiling all my clients' experience, and I'm very fortunate that the book became the bestseller. And I'll just present some of the glimpse, some of the concepts of the book. But financial wellness, when we talk about professional wellness, friends, today, as Debjani man said, situation is not very happy. Just imagine, some months back, there was a huge level of unemployment which was there in the system. And during April, May, the unemployment level again went up to as high as 24-25%. Just imagine, from a small thela wala to moody wala to chai wala, even to shops, even to big hotels, big colleges, all of them were badly impacted. The businesses were not there. And trust me, 2008 was a financial crisis. This is financial come health crisis. In 2008, people were, other things were moving, financial market collapsed. But here, you are just being, put and locked into your room. And you just, as, a small workplace at your home, and you just have to work from there. So very different approach, very different scenario. But again, as we say that humans are very resilient, you put a wall in front of the humans and they will some or the other way find a way out to push that wall. And the same way we are coming right now. If you would feel and sense that the impact of COVID is slightly fading away in the minds of the people. You go to roads, the traffics are full jam, people are just waiting for trains to get open. And we have develop that mindset that yes, COVID is going to stay, and we have to stay, and we have to live with the COVID. It's just a part of our life. So let's focus on our skills, and where we wanted to do that. It could be happen that 6 months you just have to work from home, but after 6 months again, gradually things will reopen and you want to go back to college. So please don't waste your 6 months thinking that what will happen. Instead, focus, upgrade, enhance your skill, and after a few months things will again come back to the new normal which we are talking about. So let me just give you an overall impact on the entire sector. Just look at travel and tourism sector, huge unemployment, restaurants, real estate, autos, and lot of sectors, media, entertainment, shops are being closed. But these are temporary. After some time, again, all of us, we are really, we are just waiting for the vaccine to come out. And once any one good vaccine come out, all of us will just rush out, maybe to take a holiday, or maybe, to go to malls or whatever is there. So all the pent up things which is there, it will eventually come out. But yes, right now it's a crisis kind of a time. It's a time whereby, we need to plan our finances very, very well. Because at the end, whatever you may agree or not, money, sweeter than honey, brighter than sunshine. Even if you have to please your honey, you need to have money. So again, financial wellness is something very, very important. And, we need to keep, ensure that, we don't make some of the mistakes. So if you look at the sectors, as I've shown you just the previous slide, yeah. So some sectors have done very, very well, my dear friends, be it pharma, FMCG, digital, and chemicals. So what is required? The sectors which are doing very, very well, we are seeing a great transformation in that sector, great technological change, a lot of new things are happening. So all the professionals who are there in the sector, please don't feel comfortable that, okay, I'm there in a very good sector, which is booming around. No, the changes are happening very, very fast, and you need to take the professional development very, very fast. You need to enhance your skills within that same sector. And those people whose sectors have been badly impacted, you need to think of, rebuilding your skills into some different sectors, or look for some alternative skills for the time being. If you have some alternative skills, just utilize it, and then things will normalize. You can work upon it. I'll give you a small example. One of my friend was working in travel and tourism sector. So what happened? He lost his job, but what he did in last 3 months, he set up his own travel and tourism business. He said, okay, it will take 3 months to normalize the thing, but by that time, I have got 3 months, to set up everything. And I know few sets of people, few sets of clients, and when things will normalize, he actually converted himself from an employer to an entrepreneur during that time. So you just need to take advantage. See, even if people who are losing their jobs, they are upgrading their skills, they are upgrading their profession, and XYZ. So as both the speakers said, positivity and continuously upgrade yourself is the key. Yes, please move to the second slide. Yeah, again, very interesting slide. I'll again link to a movie because, as I said, last 3 months I've been eating, sleeping, drinking movies, and as I've linked all the financial concepts in my book through a movie. So very beautiful movie, my dear friends. Tara Rampam, although it was not very popular, but it talks about living a very, very balanced life. If some of you have not seen, I'll quickly narrate. Saif was a racer, and being a racer, he was a high-profile guy, and his lifestyle was very, very lavish. And the time came when he met up with an accident, and then there was some kind of a financial stress which cropped in his life. Similarly, during this COVID, most of us have seen that some or the other stress have cropped up into our life. Why? Because our standard of living was very, very high. So if you look at this pie chart, people, they started earning. So there are some people you would see that there is a huge spike in the standard of living. They started buying things on EMI. They started buying phones. They started buying. They take up a lot of international holidays without proper saving, or maybe reaching to that extent. Maybe they are just getting carried away with the lifestyle inflation of their friends and their peers. But what will happen eventually, the more you keep on increasing your lifestyle, you would be burdened with your credit card, EMI, and with time, yes, your savings, your income is growing up. But again, your EMI would be slightly, you are moving from your education loan and moving towards your housing loan, and your lifestyle, will keep on increasing. A time will come, my dear friends, when you will reach towards a phase where you would just like to sit and relax, and then you will realize that, boss, my standard of living is so high, and my savings is not sufficient to meet that. So please don't do that mistakes. You people are at the start of your career. We are doing coaching to a lot of people doing their financial planning, and I can tell you, out of 100 people, 40 to 50% of the people, they are in this zone at this point of time, because nobody could have thought that this kind of a situation will happen. They will have a pay cut, they might lose job. सब सोचे कि भाई सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है, and things will just keep on like this, and they would keep on getting regular increment, which was happening. But again, life is full of surprises, adventure, and excitement, and we have to live by that. Yes, next scenario. Yeah. So again, if you want to live a life, zindagi na milegi dobara, you need to enjoy, then, you need to maintain, so again, just look at this pie chart. You have started living, okay. Your standard of living is upgrading, but it is consistent upgrade. It is not like, you have upgraded on the very next year, you have bought a car, XYZ stuffs. So it is gradually upgrading, and your savings will gradually upgrade. And what will happen, friends, in finance, there is a concept called power of compounding. I know most of you would have read it, but if you have not, but Einstein has called power of compounding as the eighth wonder of the world. It is just like, you keep on, I'll just give you a small example. 1 rupee, if you keep it doubling every day, okay, next day it becomes 2 rupees, third day it becomes 8 rupees, and 16, 32, 64. So on fifth or sixth, seventh day, it would be 64 rupees. But if that 1 rupee, if you keep that doubling after 30 days, my dear friends, it becomes 107 crores. That is the beauty of power of compounding, and that is why Einstein has said it is the eighth wonder of the world. So consistently, you can increase, like, it is advisable to increase your standard of living. Your savings will go up, and eventually, when power of compounding will start working in your life, you will feel that your savings are quite at a decent place to and there is a huge cushion between your standard of living and your cushion. So please don't fall into scenario one, stick to scenario two always for your life. Don't get carried away what people are doing around you, because after some another decade, a pandemic kind of a stuff or another crisis would hit, and they would fall back and they would apply your model. So those people who are maybe in your neighbors, your family members, or within your family members, if you are staying in this kind of a scenario, definitely this pandemic would not have been a pandemic for you. You could have focused on enhance your skills, you could have focused on learning new things rather than getting worried. So try and attain your financial freedom. This is something very, very critical, which I tell to all the people. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, as Debjani ma'am, as Anjali ma'am talked about four quadrants. So similarly, I have drawn a four quadrant, my dear friends. And again, it is inspired by the movie Dhoom, Dhoom 3. All of you would have seen Dhoom 3 here. There were two brothers, Amir, but nobody knew. The entire world, they knew that only there is one brother, Samar, and there is no other Sahir existed. And that is why, one brother in that circus used to jump from this side, the other brother land up on the other side. And people used to think, wow, that's a kind of a magic that they are doing. Something very, very excellent, something very, very exciting. And they made the great Indian circus show. So similarly, in your life, my dear friend, you have to create your own financial clone, especially those people who are starting, you have started your career, please make your own financial clone. So if I just have to divide the four cash flow quadrant, in the first quadrant, say for example, you are a salaried employee. So how you can create a financial clone? By saving 20 to 30% of your income. Even if you are a student, save 20% of your pocket money, which you are getting, and start putting and start investing into, some or the other class, be it FD, be it stocks, or be it mutual funds, wherever it is. And ensure that, in next 10 years, you create your own financial clone. So what will happen? What may the pandemic come? What may the situation comes? You have created your own clone. One income will keep coming from your salary, and the other income will keep coming, from the investor, from the clone which you have created, for the savings which you have done. And similarly, people who are in the self, like a person like me who is into training and financial development, what I can do, either I can create an investor by savings whatever income I earn, or I can create a system where people work for me and I earn. Just look at HDFC Bank or maybe any other big corporate. Does the owner, they go to office every day? No. Even if they don't go to office for 3 to 6 months, I'm sure, the bank will run, or even a company like Reliance. If Mukesh Ambani is not there, it will definitely, keep on running, because it has been converted into a big business. So my dear friends, as ma'am said, that, wellness is something very, very important. So health wellness is something very, very critical. And we should migrate from health wellness, and like all the wellness, they are all different channels. Health is one part, financial is one part, and the other wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness is one part. So keep a track. It's like, and have mentors. That is something very excellent that, Debjani ji said. And I'm taking a very, very strong clue out of this presentation, that, I'll keep a health mentor for me, because that is where I'm lacking at this point of time. And all of you similarly, friends, there must be some weaknesses, or probably some, in that graph of that wellness, something, might be plus or minus. So please try and, make a balance out of it. So I've just make few small notes, like, what ma'am said, and I was really, really very excited. So she talks about systematic development, systematic disciplined approach. So similarly, friends, when it comes to your savings, you should have a systematic investment approach. It's not that, one fine morning you just end up and you save. No, every month you save, so that, that pocket keep on rising, and that power of compounding benefit you keep on getting. And, that will just take you to a new way and take you to a new high. So friends, life, there would be challenges, there would be ups and downs, just like, in markets we have some kind of up and downs, movement will be there. But just be as brave as like Bahubali. There would be there would be times whereby, you would feel that, okay, you are being pulled out. So just motivate yourself. If you have good mentors, definitely, they will help you in doing that. So just be focused to your work. So just be focused, and be strong, be brave, and things will eventually, whatever be the difficult times, whatever be ups and downs, eventually, humans are very strong, and very resilient to that change. So keep smiling, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, And don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. Just focus on upgrading yourself. Just focus on your skill. I think these are the two mantras which also I am taking out of this session by listening to the two great eminent speakers. So over to Rilika.
Thank you, Saurav. Thank you so much. It was an excellent, I think, event where we got different, like balanced tips from different Dr. Anjali, Devjani ma'am, as well as Saurav ji. Everybody had put some of the insight to different aspects of, like being it a wellness, being it academics, be it life, be it finance, everything. So it was, I think, a complete, like overall idea that we had grabbed today. A lot of secret tips we got from each and every our mentor, our speakers. Thank you so much. And I would also, like over to Anjali ma'am for like wrapping up the session. Before that, I would want any questions from the like the participants. I have one question. I can see like one particular somebody had put a question. I think it's for Saurav, like can you advise students on investment? So if you can just.
So we can do that. So it's again, as we said that, you need, as ma'am said that, you need to have a lakshya of life. So when it comes to investment, please prepare your financial lakshya of life. That is very, very important. So for that, we would really be happy and we would take Anjali ma'am's permission to, hold a separate session on, how to manage your finances, simple things, financial wellness, how to imbibe in your, life, so that at the very start point they can learn and they can avoid the mistakes which we have done actually in our life. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any more questions from any of the participants? Otherwise we will like move towards the like the wrapping session. Any more questions?
They can unmute and they can also ask. I've given them the option to unmute them, all of them. Yeah.
Rilika, since there is no question, I would request to you to hand over to Dr. Anjali ma'am,
Yes,
because in the
yes.
interest of time,
Yeah.
we already extended a lot of.
Yeah. So, ma'am, can you just take the honor to like do the wrap ups?
Thank you, Rillika. Good evening to all. It's a real pleasure to listen Debjani ma'am and Saurav sir. Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful speech. Thank you, sir, for a wonderful speech. On behalf of Sampark team and all participants, really, I'm thankful to both of you for a wonderful speech. And definitely, Debjani, ma'am, you showed us the way. In how this challenging time we can just come out as a winner by talking to our own self in a positive way, how we can break the negativity, how we can have the mentor. We often ignore the wellness part, and I promise you today that from today onwards I will talk to myself very positively. I will try to break negativity, and definitely it's my promise to you, ma'am, I will come out and we will come out as a winner. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving us such a wonderful insight into this challenging time, ma'am. And what about Saurav sir? Saurav sir, it's also a real pleasure. I like the way how you link the difficult financial concept to films. I think you must. I think, and all Youngistan will appreciate that, because when we think about finance, it is we are scared, and scared about the numbers, the terms, and all. But yes, all Youngistan will be agreeing with me that in such a simple manner you give us a financial collage. And I would like to promise you that we were a little bit ignorant about the financial wellness, but yes, and we have understood. And the film which you showed, where the Saif Ali Khan, and how he lost all his, and how he go on increasing his burdens and the EMIs, and finally how he faced the difficult situation in life. But yes, there is a takeaway that yes, financial wellness is absolutely essential, and right from your young age we need to, it's not the thing that when we grow old then we have to think. No, from the young age, from the youngistan, it should come into their mind that I must save, I must save for tomorrow. So it's my promise to you that yes, we will look after financial wellness. And thank you very much for making us understand, and we would like to have many more sessions, many more clarity on the finance in coming days. So thank you very much, thanks again. And I wish you all happy learning and stay safe. Thank you very much, sir
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to our like mentor today in the evening. And I would also like to thank two like eminent like personalities, Dr. Henry D, the director of Saint Francis Institute of Management Studies and Research, Mumbai, and Dr. Ashwini Arte, Mahatma Gandhi Mission Institute of Management Studies and Research, Navi, Mumbai. So, like they have also helped us to make this event very much successful. So thanks to everyone to like bring out their like precious time and giving us such secret tips to so many participants. And I think it was a wonderful balanced session of finance, of wellness, of academics, of professional, everything we had covered over here. I think we all would look forward for such more sessions from such beautiful speakers in future. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I think any the registration people who have done, they would be getting the certificates. I think Ashish has already mentioned over here. So Ashish, if you would like to add anything over here at the end.
I would just like to say one thing to Rilika. Just look at the number of participants. Still
Yes.
93 people are there,
Yes.
and they are not in a mood to leave the session. They would just like
Correct.
to hear ma'am, and really, really, really had a blast session
It
today.
was a magical session actually, and it was a wonderful session for every one of us, I think.
I
So
think
Ashish.
what went down very well is that I think it was a very holistic 360-degree kind of a view. There was a
Correct.
single aspect of super secrets that was left out. And I, for on behalf of everyone, would love to say thanks to all that 100 plus audience to be so patient with us. I think your being there has helped us also feel good about the whole thing. Thank you.
True, true.
And cheers
Thank
to
you.
HR
Thank
Sampark.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rilika, and thank you, Rilika. Today, all of us, including people who are part of Sampark team, we became all students when we have, stalwarts like Dr. Anjali ma'am, the Debjani ma'am, and Saurabh ji, who will achieve so much in their lives. Always we say that learning is a continuous process, and today we all are learning. The day as professionals and students, we agree that we keep learning. That's how the journey continues. And thank you, Rilika. Rilika has not introduced herself. Rilika is part of Sampark team, heads HR for Polar Electric in Calcutta. She is very enthusiastic. Thank you, Rilika. You have been a
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
host and
Thank you so
coordinated
much.
this, wonderfully,
Thank you,
because
Rilika.
fulcrum is very important to balance everything. And
Yeah,
I
true.
wish everybody a safe and a bright future. Youngistan will rock and take this India development journey forward, and we as professionals will promise to contribute to it. I wish and sign off behalf of Team Sampark and everybody. And stay safe. Let us be connected through the WhatsApp group, and let the effect and impact of relationship continues. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.